Southeastern 16, presented by FanDuel. Max Barr is here. This man's watched more basketball than anyone on the planet over the past 48 hours. And we got a lot to talk about. We got to talk about the Players era, reaction to those games, reaction to the Players era, just in general. Big talking point as well. Man, just what a lot still to discuss with that.
We're getting into that.
We're going to get into that. We're going to preview another full day of action. Lots of interesting games on the slate. We might even throw some predictions in. We get a reunion between Alabama and Buzz Williams. What could you not like about college basketball these days, Max Barr? And that means that you've got to feast at FanDuel.
Feast.
You like that? Feast at FanDuel.
That was good.
That's a tremendous little play on words there.
Yep.
This week, if you want to feast on FanDuel, you can do it by looking at all these different games, whether it's SEC basketball, SEC football. There's some games going on there too. But my goodness, there's a lot of great stuff over there. Today, you can get in on all the same game parlays and all these matchups, whether we're talking Tennessee, Kansas, Auburn, St. John's, Alabama, and Maryland. They got them all. The same game parlays. But put a couple things together and see what you come up with. Max always puts the wildest parlays possible. This man's got some of those parlays over there, like 6,000 plus type odds. But my goodness.
Pay rent.
Max is doing it to pay rent, as he said. Well, hey, if you want to know where things stand with the SEC right now, and we're kind of going to lead into some talking points here.
Ooh, okay, I like this.
If you want the updated conference winners for the SEC, Max, still a little bit of a tight race.
I haven't seen these in a while.
A little bit of a tight race. You want to guess the order here over at FanDuel? Feast on FanDuel?
To win the SEC?
To win the SEC. Here's what's interesting. You got a couple ties at the top right now.
Gators?
Florida's a plus 410.
Vols?
No, Max. Kentucky's plus 410. Florida's plus 410. Then you've got Alabama plus 550. Tennessee plus 550. I'm feeling some pretty good odds on those two right now.
Ooh.
You want to know who has made their way up to fifth?
Doors?
The Commodores plus 850. Arkansas plus 1,000. And then the numbers start to go down from there. But it's Feast Week over at FanDuel. You got Vanderbilt leading the way in the battle for Atlantis winner. Hasn't tipped off yet, but the Commodores minus 125. Get in on the action there. Vanderbilt, Western Kentucky. Tremendous stuff from our friends at FanDuel. All the stuff over there. Football, basketball, NFL, NBA. It's everywhere at FanDuel this week. Feast Week. Enjoy. All right. Max. Tennessee is the talking point coming out of yesterday, I think, because the Vols took care of business against Houston, 76-73. They get the big win over the Cougars, and hey, that's a big win for Tennessee because we said going into that game that, you know, you want to see how Tennessee does offensively against a Houston defense that you know is going to kind of be up to the challenge there. And when you really kind of watched how it played out, I mean, Jacoby Gillespie got his. Nate Amon didn't have his best game, but it wasn't always pretty. You kind of expected that in this sort of game, but give Tennessee credit, man. They made some big plays. Gillespie, of course, the catalyst for that. I know the percentages weren't great, but you do what you got to do to get it done. And again, style points don't matter. You'll take a win like that in November. And yeah, I just thought, what a nice win for the Vols here.
Yeah, I mean, I wish somebody yesterday went out on a limb and took Tennessee to win this game as an outright underdog.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, my.
Oh, here we go.
Who picked the Vols?
I did. I picked Tennessee by picking Houston. We know how this works by now, okay? Please.
Oh, what a game. What a game from the Vols. It's exactly what I said all offseason. The front court. It's just relentless. You've got Cade Phillips, Jalen Carey, JP Estrella, Felix Akpara. They don't stop. It's all game. nonstop, 2-man front court, relentless. And then, hey, could not have had a better game from Bishop Boswell, baby. What a game. Both offense and defense. Well, it was mainly the defense creating the offense. That was a heck of a game. Amari Abram played well. I think two things can be true at the same time here. I think Tennessee is legit. They might go through some droughts, okay, but their positional size with Ament at 6'10", able to go him at the 3 and then put, Carey at the 4, Akpara at the 5. The size is just ridiculous. Gillespie's been really efficient, and now you're seeing Boswell, Abram, even Berg play some good minutes. So I think two things can be true. Tennessee, legit, but also is not Houston from last year. No Juwan Roberts, no Javier Francis. Front court's a bit thinner. You see Cenac making some freshman mistakes, Harwell making some freshman mistakes. It's a different team, and they don't have LJ Cryer, no three-point sniper. Last year, like top 3 in the country in three-point shooting percentage. Right now, like sub 200. So I think Houston is got to get knocked back a little bit here in the national perspective as well.
Yeah, I mean they've had an interesting start. Of course, they had the close win against Auburn. Didn't play great in that one. Still found a way to win. We mentioned the overtime game against Syracuse, and now they lose a tight one to Tennessee. But yeah, I think with the Vols, I mean, listen, man, I think with Gillespie and they name it, like they're gonna have a chance to win a lot of games still. And like I said, I know in a game like this, like just scrap the percentages a little bit because you're playing a team that yes, they may not have it what they had last year, but still defensively, Houston's going to get after you. And I think the physicality of Tennessee, and that's where I think when we kept talking about the front court of Tennessee in the offseason, it's like, man, if Florida's front court didn't exist, I mean, Tennessee is number one in our front court rankings. And I don't know that it would be much of a question. And I think now that you've seen kind of the way they balanced a lot of these guys, and that's the thing, right? It's not just, all right, Cade Phillips plays 14 minutes. I mean, that's not a lot, but like he starts the game, plays 14 minutes, and they just have so many different bodies they can throw at you. And I feel like that's where, like, a Jalen Carey type game in that kind of setting, that was a great development, I thought. So, yeah, I mean, and we mentioned, like, we didn't even think Estrella was going to be back this week, and here he is playing. So, yeah, I really like this Tennessee team. I mean, I think you see the way they're kind of playing out so far, and it's the value, too, of just having someone like Gillespie, right? It's the same kind of stuff we used to say about Tennessee having as a guy Ziegler. You've just got your cornerstone rock guy. Like, he's just the guy that you can depend on. And like I said, I know it may come with some, shooting performances that may leave a little bit to be desired, but the guy just goes out and he's a winner, man. Like, he just goes out and wins games. So, yeah, and I know people in the chat, we can pull up some chats here, talking about Flemings and all that. I mean, just a lot of talent on display in this game. So,
yeah, the last few minutes there, he was incredible. His one-on-one, there was that one drive where he stops and starts and then kind of finishes through the lane with his right hand and just completely shakes Bishop Boswell, just sends him a few feet in the other direction. Whew, this kid is good. But as good as he is, he's not LJ Cryer. He's not a high-volume three-point guy. And he can knock down a three, but it's still – LJ Cryer is one of the best three-point shooters in the country last year. So it changes things for Uzan and Sharp. You've seen Uzan not be able to really – he hasn't looked as comfortable yet. But, Blake, we had some good quotes from Rick Barnes after this because there were some national media that really was down on Rick and his non-conference scheduling in the offseason. Drew a lot of criticism from a certain outlet. And so Barnes claps back and says, well, everybody had heard the chatter that we hadn't played anybody yet, but we had a great scrimmage against Ohio State. We had a great exhibition against Duke. And we knew after both of those that if we continue to grow, we had a chance. More and more guys are starting to understand their role. Think about Jalen Carey coming off the bench and doing what he had to do. Nate with 3 fouls that were questionable, but we worked through it. Hey, this is a Tennessee team that heard all the chatter in the offseason about, the November schedule's too soft, this and that. Rick Barnes throws it right back at you. Get a load of that. Take that. Balls, baby.
Well, listen, Lowell was telling us early, fix the rankings now. We would if we could. We would fix them right now. We move the Vols up at this very moment if we could do that. We won't do that till next Monday. But I think Tennessee trending up, to say the least, when it comes to our rankings. Today's game, Max, let's just stick with the theme here. Tennessee's going to play Kansas. In this one, we know it's a Kansas team without Peterson. So that, is a little bit different. So far, Kansas has beaten Notre Dame by 10, Syracuse by 11. And this is your matchup here. And don't worry, we'll talk about how we got here to this matchup when we get into the players era stuff. But thoughts on this one? I think, again, without Peterson, I know, Kansas has looked fine, but they're still a different team without him. But also, obviously, still a pretty talented team that I think Tennessee, offensively, I think Tennessee will be able to, and I know Kansas's defensive numbers have been good, but I still think offensively Tennessee's going to have a better path to maybe more of a crisp performance than they did against Houston.
Yeah, this line opened at Tennessee -2.5 and instantly got nuked out to 4.5. And right now, looking at the VSiN data, even at 4.5, Tennessee is holding 92% of bets, 94% of total money.
It's -4.5, -120 at FanDuel. I think that number, there's a chance that number goes up before tip off.
It goes up, yeah. So opened at 2.5, and everybody who's anybody has not been backing the Jayhawks. Heavy Vols backing in this game, and I think it's just because of the front court depth. Badunga, so important for Kansas, so important without Peterson out there, and he's going to have body after body after body, just fresh, coming off of 10 minutes rest. Here comes JP Estrella. Okay, you got to switch. Who do you get switched on to? 270-pound Jalen Carey. Like, it's going to be nonstop, and I think over the court, might be tough in the first half, might be tight. This still is a good Kansas team. They just controlled a Syracuse team that should have beat Houston. So, it's not a bad Kansas team at all. But I think over the course of the game, that front court's going to wear down the strength of Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas has been a pretty good, rebounding team in a certain sense. But I just think Tennessee is a different animal. But you can say, look, Kansas has already played North Carolina. They played Duke. They lost both those games by double digits. And those were games where it's just like, I don't know. Without Peterson, I think you're going to have more variety and volatility in Kansas's outcomes. And that's why I think it's kind of one of those where you would feel pretty good about backing Tennessee in this spot, I think. And I just think that's why. Like, I don't know which Kansas team you're going to get necessarily in this one. Because again, the offensive numbers have not been great, but I think Tennessee is starting to figure some things out on that end of the floor. And I do think, even with Kansas defensive numbers being what they are, I think Tennessee will still have a pretty good path to, possibly a consistent offensive performance here against Kansas. So we'll see.
Yep.
All right. Next up, Max.
Got a few options. You got a few options.
And I'm
trying
to figure out,
positive or negative.
Do we want to go positive or negative? Well, look, we'll bounce around here, okay? Let's go to the second highest profile game of the day, and that was Auburn and Michigan. And once again, this whole players era, tiebreakers, and all this nonsense. Michigan 102, Auburn 72. A 30-point victory for the Wolverines in that game. This didn't exactly go how I think we expected it to. Not from the winner standpoint, but Auburn's down 28 at half, and you kind of said earlier, what do we learn about Tennessee and Houston? Listen, man, I think we learned a lot about Michigan in that game to where. Yeah. How many discussions have we had over the past week? Who's the best team in college basketball? Well, folks, time to stop for 1 second and consider the fact that it may be Michigan, because an absolute machine are the Wolverines right now, and Dusty May has got them just, doing work out there, and that's exactly what happened. They just worked the Tigers in this game. And yeah, Auburn led 2-0 right out of the gate, Max, and from there, it wasn't pretty.
Yeah, the 2-point defense for Michigan is just unreal, especially when Mara's out there. But even when Mara's not out there, it's still unreal. Holding Auburn to 31% from two. 31% from two with Keyshawn Murphy, with Keyshawn Hall, with physical guys that make a living around the rim. 31% is ridiculous. Michigan right now, number one in pretty much every analytic defensively. Number 2 in the country in 2-point percentage defense through 6 games, holding teams to 35.7% from 2, not 3. From 3, they're allowing 32.7%. About average, right in the middle of the pack. 32.7% from 3, 35.7 from 2. Ridiculous defensive numbers in and around the rim. And after the first 10 minutes, and Auburn can't get anything going, and you hear Stephen Pearl on the sideline, going, "They're playing unreal right now. Just hang in there. Just hang in there." They never stopped.
No. Again, anytime you got a team that defends like Michigan and they go 14 of 35 from 3, you're done for. Like, you don't have a chance. When they defend like that and they hit 14 threes and shoot 40%, it's going to be a rough game. And, yeah, to shoot as well as they did from 2, they shot. Michigan did everything well. Like, let's just call it what it is. They did everything well in this game. And Auburn just had no answer for this. And so, yes, I think you're going to be very disappointed if you're Auburn with the overall performance. But it's like you just kind of ran into a buzzsaw here. And sometimes that's going to happen, although I think that was it the second worst program loss as a ranked team or something like that, which, you don't expect to get beat by 30 as a ranked team. So I think, yeah, it's one where you just cleared this one out of the way. Let's focus on, that's right, St. John's. So you go from having to play that one to now having to play a Rick Pitino coach St. John's team. And, what's the line on this one? I think 6.5 for St. John's.
It was 5 up to 6.
Okay, up to 6, yeah. So, that's a 7 p.m. tip, True TV. Also at the Michelob Ultra Arena there in Las Vegas. Thoughts on this one, Max? Look, St. John's is certainly not to Michigan's level so far based on some of the action we've seen. They are coming off the 96-81 win against Baylor after the 1-point loss to Iowa State, and, of course, also lost to Alabama a couple weeks ago. But, I think it's kind of one of those two where if you look at St. John's, and they shot the ball well yesterday against Baylor, we kind of know. But the greatest, I don't know if it's the greatest stat, one of the wildest stats you'll see is for a team that goes out and wins by 15, and they give up 26 offensive rebounds.
Yikes. Yikes, a lot of missed shots.
But it's 26. Baylor's always kind of known as a great offensive rebounding team. But 26.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Rataj isn't even like a career offensive rebounder. Like, he's not bad, but he's not like a monster on the boards.
He was yesterday. But you had a lot of missed shots too, as you said.
Yeah, and this game is so important for both teams because you have an Oregon win for Auburn that now looks a lot worse than it did 2 days ago. Oregon was 67th in KenPom after the Auburn game, and now they're 86th after San Diego State takes them to the woodshed last night. So Oregon now potentially might not even be a quad 1 win if they keep falling. So these next few matchups for Auburn extra important, because I don't know about that. I don't know about banking on a win in Indianapolis against Purdue. You got 3 matchups here you got to capitalize on.
Yeah, man. You just Michigan, St. John's, NC State, Arizona, Purdue over the next month for
Got
the
to
Tigers.
capitalize.
My goodness, that is just brutal. So, yeah, I mean, I think that today's game will be interesting. Like I think it's a winnable game for Auburn. But it's like I think how do you bounce back from just that performance? I think that's where I think you start to learn more. Because remember, we said the last time Auburn faced some real adversity was game number 1. Bounced back, played really well. But like now you're facing some bigger adversity. You're coming off of an embarrassing scoreline, right? Like you're going to feel embarrassed by losing by 30 on national TV at the prestigious Players Era tournament. But it's one of those where I think they can do some things that can disrupt what St. John's likes to do, but I want to see how they respond, and that's where again Stephen Pearl taking over did a good job with that after game 1. This is kind of a different scenario here, and knowing the gauntlet of games you got coming up, man, they gotta at least build some positive momentum, I think, coming out of this tournament here. And so I think you just want to play well. Like if they lose, it will be disappointing, but you gotta play better. But man, I don't know if St. John's is on Michigan's level either, and so that will factor in also. What do you think about Bruce Pearl? Bruce Pearl on the call. I feel bad. Look, Bruce is put in a spot where he's having to call this game, and this man just wants to be over there on the sidelines, ripping the referee a new one, and he's trying his best to not do that on the call. But I thought it was pretty entertaining to hear Bruce on there, to be honest with you, because I think it's like you would text me, you're like, this guy was just the coach like 5 weeks ago or something, and that was interesting. So
I was going to bring that up. That was incredibly entertaining. I know it wasn't a very fun game to watch for Auburn fans, but that was who's this completely neutral, unbiased color commentator we get treated to for this matchup? Oh, it's the head coach of Auburn 5 weeks ago. This should be entertaining. And I mean, he got into it a little bit, but the first few minutes, it is just like painful for him to try to stay neutral. Michigan's making a few shots, and it's just, but that's not bad defense. That's not bad defense. They're just making good shots. That's not bad defense from Auburn. Like every single opportunity he had to try to, but Auburn's playing, not bad. It's like, dude, you got to get off the call here.
There was a couple moments like, and I was just specifically, it was like these came to my mind here. There was one where Michigan had an inbounds pass, and he was on defense, okay? And so Michigan throws the inbounds pass from the baseline. They throw it to the top of the key on the first pass. But it's like Jovic has his head turned, and he doesn't see the ball. And so Bruce is talking about something. So he is like, he's in the middle of a thought, right? And then all of a sudden, Philip doesn't turn his head. And Bruce goes, Philip, turn your head. And it's just like, I was like, oh, that's tremendous. Like, he just broke mid-thought. He's like, come on, dude, you got to turn your head on the inbounds pass. You got to see the ball. And he didn't. And then at the end, it's the one where, the guy off the bench for Michigan hits a 3 or something, and the place just goes berserk. And, you can tell, there's just a silence there, and I'm just waiting to see, all right, what an uncomfortable spot to be in that you have to respond to this. You have to be excited for this kid, but at the same time, they're doing it at the expense of your team. And he was like, and then he just he went into the very neutral response, and I'm just like, oh, brutal.
I was thinking, what if you're a Michigan fan, and you're like, okay, let me tune into a great early November Michigan basketball game. And the whole time you've got to listen to the Auburn coach's dad. It's like, who's making the calls here on setting this? That shouldn't happen. It's just not, I don't know. I was originally, it was funny. I thought it was funny, but I'm not a huge fan of the coach's dad, who was the head coach 5 weeks ago, than calling the game. It's like, it's just not going to work.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, that was something. So, okay. Oh yeah, it's a good point, Chris. Like you also had, what was it? Who was it? Was Jalen Rose on that one? I don't
Yeah,
remember. It all
and
runs
Chris
together.
Webber, and they're just as bad in the intermission. They're going, we this, we that, our team
Yeah.
this, our team that. It's like, get these guys off my screen.
No one wants unbiased opinions anymore. Um, all right. Yeah. So Auburn's going to play St. John's today. True TV, 7 p.m. Central. Check that one out. Okay. We've still got to cover some stuff from last night, and we will do that. We started a little early today because we had a feeling this show could go a little long. We'll find out once we get there. Just a lot to discuss. Okay. I think the other premier game, and then don't worry, Alabama fans, we'll get there. I think in terms of the game rankings, we had Ole Miss, Iowa next. And Iowa 74, Max Barr's Hawkeyes get the win over the Rebels, 74-69. Bennett Sturt's out of this world performance, I guess you could say. Goes for 29 in this game. Maybe it's how he got to the 29 max that was most impressive. But yeah, come up short for Ole Miss. But you were saying this to me earlier. I agree. I don't think this is one where you come out of it feeling that down on Ole Miss by any means. I think that's a good Iowa team, and that was kind of more so you, but I got on board this offseason with that kind of being a team that I think is just going to surprise a lot of people. Ben McCollum he's a terrific coach, and yeah, Iowa gets the very close win here. AJ Storr went for 22 for Ole Miss. Our guy Elias didn't have the best shooting performance, but still gets 12 points. 4 assists, had some turnovers in this one, but I mean, Elias had a couple blocks, had some steals. Keza Giffa with 13, and yeah, I think this one of the stats, and I told you this. I think it's the Malik Diaz stat line: 2 points, 2 rebounds in 16 minutes, had a couple blocks, but that's the one thing you really, I think, couldn't afford in this game, and that's how it kind of played out.
Yeah, I hate that it's at the expense of the Rebels. But I've been talking about this Iowa team for months now. In the summer when we said sleeper Final Four teams, didn't even have to think twice. Iowa, probably the best coach in the game right now, in my opinion, with one of the best point guards. McCollum is just an absolute wizard with how I don't know the X's and O's that deep, but whatever he's doing out there, it's pretty hard to beat. And then Sturtz, if you guys watched that game, 6 of 8 from 3. Pretty much all 6 of those makes were like, whew, that was kind of a risky pull up right with a guy in his face. And it wasn't even like, it was just swish every time. I mean, the guy's just absolute money. Iowa is, I think, a legit, like they're going to be like a 3 seed, 4 seed. That is as legit as a team gets. Ole Miss, on the other hand, you only lose by 5 and you get absolutely nothing from Malik Diaz. They had every chance to win that game. That was a very back and forth game. With like a few minutes left, they put up, those graphics, Blake, when it's a close game and it's like 15 lead changes, largest lead only 8 points. Like it was a very, very tight game the whole way through. So I wouldn't come away from this, like you said, really knocking Ole Miss. Ole Miss had some really good moments. Keza Giffa with 2 of 4 from 3, and both of those 2 threes were huge and huge moments. And Ilias didn't have the best shooting night, but he had a hard matchup with Bennett. So this is one of those games, Blake, where you lose the game as a Rebel, but I come away liking the team a little bit more.
Yeah, I think so. Again, I just think some of it's consistency right now. And like we said, I think it's just, that stat line for me is just, the Dia stat line. What if it's more like a Dia stat line and not that one last night? That just makes a significant difference, I think. But nonetheless, yeah, I mean, that's a good Iowa team. And, this is one that's not going to hurt you on your overall resume for Ole Miss. First loss of the season. Remember, they've still got, some interesting games coming up. Obviously, they need to beat Utah today. That's not a great Utah team. So they need to beat them, and then they've got some interesting ones. Miami, we said, improved. They got the game at St. John still up there. They've got NC State, so still plenty of opportunities for Ole Miss before you get to SEC play. So, yeah, not gonna be that upset probably about a 5-point loss to Iowa coming out of it. So
one little eye test thing though is freshman Patton Peekins. He didn't play a ton, but when he was out there, I was like, who is this guy? You know, when you're watching a guy and he just looks good. Just eye test immediately. Just like, ooh, like him. I like him. Patton Pinkins, kind of a 2-guard. He's got that positional size at 6'5", 200 pounds. He played his lowest minutes of the season. I mean, clearly this is the toughest game so far for Ole Miss, but there might be a little bit of a development there. Travis Perry's minutes are fluctuating. Eduardo Klafke's minutes are fluctuating, and it looks like Storr has kind of solidified himself at the 3. There might be a little bit of a development there, similar to Tennessee's 2-guard situation. There's some new faces emerging for Ole Miss at that 2-guard spot next to Ilias.
All right, we'll see how it plays out. Like we said, they got Utah today, and we will see what happens from there. All right, Alabama. The tide rolled. I said yesterday, Max, I think Alabama's scoring 100. I'd be shocked if they don't score 100 against UNLV. They scored 115. 115-76 over the running Rebels. It turns out it was Alabama who was running away with this game because, the tide just completely took care of business in this one. Aiden Holloway, bounce-back game, just kind of like we figured. We were like, come on, sometimes just going to have some of those games. Bounces back. Great performance here. I thought from him, you look at the final numbers, goes for 26 in this game, shot the ball really well, 5 of 6 from 3. Alabama hits 14 threes, go figure. Got to the free throw line 35 times. Alabama shot it well from everywhere, 69% from 2, 42% from 3, 83% from the free throw line. Won the rebounding battle considerably. A lot to like for the Crimson Tide in this game, and this was one on paper where you're just like, I don't think this should be close. I think Alabama should score at will, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, this was the late night special. I only caught the first half, and that's all you needed to catch. Up by about.
I didn't see a whole lot beyond that.
Up by about 15 at halftime, and right away, I don't know what Aiden Holloway ate for breakfast yesterday, but whatever it was, he's got to keep eating that because holy smokes, did he look like a new player?
Cola.
Yeah.
I think so.
Maybe a little caffeinated diet Cola in the morning to get you going because he was fantastic. No hesitation. First 3, I was like, whoa, that was a quick trigger. Bang, right away. And Aiden Holloway just takes off. Remember, you still don't have Latrell Wrightsell. You still don't have Jalil Bethea. I know Big Baller Brett wants me to bring up the freshman London Jemison. I mean, how about just look at London Jemison and Amari Allen, both 6'8" to just north of 200 pounds. You've got 24 minutes from Jemison, 18 from Amari Allen. Jemison goes for 18 points. Amari Allen goes for 13. They both grab a few boards. Amari Allen actually has 6 assists, team lead to only 3 turnovers. Man. There's been a lot of elite freshmen so far early in this college basketball season. 2 that are not getting enough credit just for knowing their role and adding to their team has been Amari Allen and now London Jemison as well. Really, really played well.
Yeah, I mean that's the depth of Alabama, the number of guys they have that can, kind of do this. And I know this was kind of a different game because you're just completely dominating, but I think it just shows you, and like we said, you got to remember Bethea's still out. I don't know. I mean, in terms of depth, we've certainly got to put Alabama in there now. Easily, I think, is one of the deepest teams in the SEC. Just in terms of number of guys they can throw at you at any time. And like we said, they're playing without a key rotation figure right now, too. So, yeah. I don't have a lot more to add on this one. Like I said, I didn't watch this full game either. Watched a little bit of it just because, the game didn't tip off till after midnight Eastern. So, I think this is kind of what you expect from Alabama, and I think that shows you too. These are the kind of games that, all right, Alabama won, whatever, but no, it's kind of important to see how your team bounces back. Like we said, yes. Auburn's going to be in that spot today against a much better opponent, I think, but they got that tells you something as a coach, though, right? And I think about even the game against Purdue. Alabama felt like could have played a lot better against Purdue, came up short, disappointing loss. Then what do? They come back 6 days later. They beat a great Illinois team, kind of on their home turf. And then it's like, all right, what do you do after you lose the Zags? Well, you come back, put 115 up on UNLV. So I think that just shows you, like, this is the kind of team that will be disciplined to that point to where, how you respond is everything. And when you have kind of the schedule that Alabama has, that's important. But, Max, I've been waiting for this. Incredible matchup for the Crimson Tide today. Because we don't have to wait long. Oh, yeah, we do, because this is another game that's going to tip off tonight. Very, very late. I wish this was like a prime time game to be able to just look at this one and say, hey, let's put this one at 7 p.m. because the most must-see game of the day, Alabama and the Buzz Williams-coached Maryland Terrapins. Alabama gets buzzball tonight. Who knows what Maryland's going to be cooking up after midnight Eastern time on TNT at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas.
Well, they're going to be looking to forget last night after.
How many free throws are shot in this game, Max? Over under at FanDuel. 75.
Yeah. Did you see that Zags Maryland game? Holy smokes.
Just you thought Michigan Auburn was bad. You didn't see nothing until you saw the Zags in Maryland. So
yikes. Hey, I will say though, for Alabama, they've lost 2 games. Zags are number 1 in KenPom, Purdue's number 2. If you're gonna lose 2 games, might as well be against number 1 and number 2.
That's a great comment from Big Baller Brown. Tips off at 11 p.m. Central. They're going to end around 2 a.m.
Yep.
Easily going to be the 3-hour game of the week, and of course, it's going to be the one that tips off that late.
Yeah, I mean, Maryland stinks. I don't know what you want me to.
Yeah, they're not very good. I mean, that's my thing. I'm like, I could see Alabama putting up another 100 spot here. Now I know it's a Buzz team, and he's got some familiarity there, but I can't imagine. But I say that, and I'm like, if you look at the point distribution percentage, Maryland is getting 30% of their points from the free throw line, folks. 30% from the free throw line. That's top 5 nationally. They are absolutely going to shoot 30-plus free throws tonight. I'd be shocked if they don't. And Alabama is going to shoot a lot of free throws too, I think. So it could be one of those games.
It's going to be an ugly one.
Yeah, I think so. By the way, I just realized, so I have a tick with Kezagifa. I was saying Kezagifa for the longest time, and I'm like, it just stuck. But it's Kezagifa. That is how you pronounce it.
I was saying Giffa throughout the whole offseason. Then one of the Ole Miss games, I heard Giffa, and I was like, oh, I had no clue.
I'd like to correct those things because that has just been a tick. But last night, as I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. And so it's just, we do this a lot, I think, early in the season. And then we have some of the games where we know. Yeah, oh, we had that debate yesterday too. Chat, here you go. We'll throw this to the chat. How do you say it? How do you say it? Do you say Gonzaga? 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 How do you say it? Because we have people telling us both ways, and these are people from the Zags telling us to say it in 2 different ways. So let us know.
I did research into it, and it was the regional area around the school says Gonzaga, but the Saint Gonzaga that the school's named after is Gonzaga. So it's like the dialect of the area has been Gonzaga, but if you want to get technical, the saint that the school was named after was Gonzaga, but no one says Go Zogs.
Go Zogs. Maybe we should. Maybe we should say that. Yeah. Big Gary J. Gonzaga, Gargonzola. That's not a. That sounds about right. Okay. Alabama, Maryland tonight.
Gonzaga.
Stay up.
No one's thought of that.
I don't know. It's all Gonzo, if you ask Sam here. So, all right. Seriously, mark it down. like find a way, stay up tonight, watch Alabama, Maryland. It will be worth it just for, I think, entertainment value. So, okay, let's take a little quick reset here. You guys are in the chat. Remember, do us a favor, boy. We had a lot of people yesterday say, you know what, we want to jump in on that members mailbag here. We see what you guys talked about for 45 minutes in our members mailbag yesterday. And some of you guys said, well, I got to watch this. And you signed up as you saw that. So we appreciate all the new signups we got yesterday for our membership here at Southeastern 16. I'm going to put this in the comments. And boy, what do you know? I spelled it wrong. So we're going to delete that. Too much going on over here today, the day before Thanksgiving. But we are doing our best here, folks. How many shows have we done the past 3 days? I couldn't tell you. But check out our membership tiers. We will pin that in the comments as usual. Yeah, join in. Go watch a 45-minute mailbag we did yesterday for members. We got a ton of great questions in there. Everything from kind of the state of SEC basketball, Nate Oates versus Mark Byington. We had video games, sports video game franchises, WWE matches, which I know was Max's favorite question that was asked. All kinds of stuff. So go check it out. Become a member now. MVP, legend, or you can just support the channel. And that is a simple support tier as well. So, yeah, we appreciate it. Man, so many of you guys have signed up since we introduced this new membership last week. So, tremendous. And, by the way, the credits today, the new credits we introduced yesterday, we are going to have to make a little bit of a tweak to that. So, you will not get your members' legends credits today on this show. But don't worry, we have a fix.
Got flagged.
We need to change up some audio a little bit here. But don't worry. Someone is going to help us out with that. And a musical legend, one could say, is going to help us out and fix that. All right. Also, the Yearly Company. Don't forget, Nashville-based fine jewelry, built on tradition, designed for meaning. The solid 14 karat gold, natural gemstones, backed by a lifetime guarantee. Every Yearly Company bangle, custom size, as you know. So you got to get that sizing kit over there, 100% off at checkout. SC16 kit, 100% off at checkout. It's the holiday season. Get your shopping done now, you procrastinators. Get it done. SC16 kit over at the Yearly Company. Get those sizes for those bangles. Bang. Over at the Yearly Company. Rockform, ROKFORM.com. The world's strongest magnetic phone case. Extreme protection, super strong magnets, rock lock, secure mounting. SEC25 is the code over there. You knew that already, but I'm going to say it again. SEC25, 25% off over at Rockform. Get your cases, accessories, and more with our friends at Rockform. All right, let's catch up on a few chats, and then we'll start to preview today. So action, outside of the ones we haven't already talked about, because we have tied in some of these in the Players era. Actually, we probably need to get more Players era nonsense out of the way before we get into stuff. Shout out to Daryl earlier for breaking his foot. Hanging lights for the basketball viewing party. Congratulations, Daryl. Congratulations on the broken foot.
What are we doing?
Steven says, Blake, please pick Duke then. Now, this is back to our discussion of, fading myself at this point. Don't worry, Steven. Ask and you shall receive, because our Duke Arkansas preview video will be coming out this afternoon. You already know who I picked, pal. I am riding the wave right now when it comes to trying to get the SEC on track, because I'm going to need more help than just my picks, but I'm doing my part. So some people haven't caught on to the bit yet, but that's okay. We're having fun with it. Max, did you know that Sam mentioned this 28 minutes ago? Kentucky volleyball just won the SEC volleyball tournament over the Longhorns of Texas. To that I say,
yes,
that deserves a clap. Congrats to the Cats, champions of the world. Tremendous performance, I thought. I haven't watched a second of it, but I heard it was tremendous. So, congrats to the volleyball Cats there. All right. Now, Max, any additional thoughts on the Players Era tournament?
Well, I do have a not long, but I do have a take that it needs to get put out about the Players Era and the discourse around it. But before we do that, real quick, our good friend Sam just reminded me, forgot to talk about
we did
debut.
I forgot.
Vernon.
We still got I'm sorry. We still got games to circle back on. I completely forgot. Yes, outside of the ones we haven't talked about. Let's go back to yesterday real quick.
We had a Trent Burns debut. If you follow Drew King on Twitter, you can hear the crowd pop when it wasn't a huge crowd, but a little crowd at standing O when Trent Burns trots onto the floor. 7 points, was 3 of 3 from the floor. 3 rebounds, did turn the ball over 2 times, but grabbed a block as well. Looked good out there. Passed my eye test. He moves really well for his height. Really moves well. Can move his feet. It's not, cement stuck in the mud like some other, really tall 7-footers. This guy is athletic. This guy can move. Get him into game shape a little bit, and he's probably going to be a big piece of this front court.
Yeah, sorry, I just completely blanked on the rest of the games from yesterday. We had been talking for 45 minutes, and I forgot we hadn't even got to them yet. Yes, Missouri 98, South Carolina State 66, Texas A&M 120, Mississippi Valley State 84. I don't think that was a cover for the Aggies.
Nope.
And then Texas 119, Chaminade 78. So those were your other scores from the day. But yes, I think Missouri probably the most notable one, just based on the fact, like you mentioned, to have him back in the mix. I mean, that's a big boost for a team that we already knew had a lot of depth. I don't like my guy Jacob Cruz's numbers going down here. The 3-point percentage went 0 of 5 yesterday. That's okay. He'll bounce back. No worries. No worries. One of the best shooters on the planet. Yeah, but overall, I mean, just the dominant performance as we knew it would be against this undermanned South Carolina State team. But yeah, I thought watched a good chunk of that, and I just think Missouri. I don't know what else to say. Like we said they should be 8-0. They're 7-0. And yes, the Jaden Stowe thing. He's out a month with a hand injury. Was it a month? I can remember the time frame.
3 to 4 weeks. I thought.
Okay, 3 to 4. That's what I was wondering. Okay. Yeah, so that hurts a little bit because again, we said the schedule will pick up. After this next game against Cleveland State, which on Friday, I mean, they should be, sizable favorites in that one. Then they get the road game at Notre Dame. Then they get Kansas, and of course, still have Illinois as well. And don't forget too, I think tying it into Missouri a little bit. We said they've got one of the toughest starts, I think, to SEC play. And so that's kind of important to remember too with this Missouri team. Obviously, they're gonna get some good competition, with Kansas and Illinois and such. But yeah, their SEC start, home against Florida, at Kentucky, at Ole Miss, home against Auburn, at LSU. That's kind of a tricky first 5 games on your schedule. So keep that in mind too for the Tigers here moving forward. Currently, one of the top 12 offensive teams in the country. They're just pouring on points, but we'll see how it goes here once we get into some more competition starting next week, I think, for Missouri. So, yeah.
Yep. League's getting a little bit healthier. We also got Mackenzie Mbako playing for Texas A&M. He did play 4 minutes against Manhattan, but really his first game yesterday against Mississippi Valley, 17 minutes, 19 points, 3 of 6 from the 3-point line. There's that stretch 4 ability. Grabs a rebound, 2 assists, and does turn the ball over 3 times, but he'll clean that up. Texas A&M really, really needed Mackenzie Mbako against Oklahoma State, and UCF didn't have him, but now you get him back before Florida State, Pitt, and SMU. Chance to turn this thing around here in the non-conference for Buckyball.
Yes, welcome back, Mbako. They need him to be, I think, a team that's anywhere close to the NCAA tournament. So
yeah, really.
All right. Yeah. Okay, now let's fast forward back again. Players era. Thoughts, Max? We have, again, given you the matchups for today. It will be Tennessee, Kansas, 6 p.m. Central, TNT. Auburn, St. John's, 7 p.m. True TV. And then Alabama, Maryland. Who knows what time after midnight Eastern on TNT as well. Thoughts on the tiebreakers, the format, how we got to these games, and this other nonsense.
The discourse on social media has really been interesting, I guess you could say. There is a straight rift between 95% of college basketball fans and their thoughts on the Players Era tournament. And then pretty much every mainstream media member. and their thoughts. And it is not very friendly right now. It really isn't. And my take is this. Does the Players Era give us some great college basketball matchups in November? Yes. Some great games. Some great matchups that I loved to watch. That were awesome. That I'm thankful for. Sure. Did it have the atmosphere of Maui? Did it have the atmosphere of a Charleston? Maybe not, but still, great matchups. Sure. But this format, if you put any group of humans in a room and said, create a format for a tournament, this result is probably the worst format any group of humans could possibly create. I mean, we've got Tennessee 2-0 with a win over a top 5 team, and they can't play for the championship because they didn't win by enough. I mean, it's just horrible, an absolutely horrific format. So this is my problem with all of college basketball media. Stop trying to gaslight every college basketball fan into loving, appreciating this thing when the format is horrible. It's horrible. It's a terrible format. I don't even know it's midnight last night. I don't even know who's playing today. It's a terrible format. Stop trying to make me think it's a good format. Yes, I appreciate good games, but stop trying to make me feel bad for not appreciating the worst tournament format I've ever seen in my life. There's my rant. Sorry.
Yeah, how dare you? How dare you have a different opinion than the people who are getting paid millions of dollars to put on this tournament with the most ridiculous set of it just makes no sense. Like, yeah, don't sit there and tell me that I should just appreciate the nonsense just because, hey, they're giving you these great college basketball games. Well, yeah, of course they are, because guess why they're giving us their great college basketball games? Because they're making a lot of money from it. That's why they're giving us these great college basketball games, not because they're just true fans. They're just true fans who want to get out there and do the best for those people. That's not true at all. Nonsense. BS. It's a bunch of hogwash, if you ask me, Max Barr. Yeah.
As for a solution.
Just
make a bracket. Just make a bracket.
It's college sports. Everyone loves them. We could make a bracket on the top cereals in the history of civilization right now, and people would somehow be intrigued because it's a bracket. Just make a bracket.
Just make a bracket.
Like, it's not that hard. And don't tell me it should be complicated. It shouldn't be. Just make a bracket. Like, oh, well, they only have this many teams. Oh, man.
So there's that whole angle to it, right? That it's just like the format is just terrible. Okay? And then there's the other format that's kind of a little bit deeper. It's a little bit more like, oh no, is college basketball going down a path I don't want it to go down? And one tweet I saw from it was actually a UConn account that it blew up, and I was like, man, that's a good take. It was, college basketball cannot try to recreate the NBA. It hurts the sport. College basketball does two things that the NBA can't touch. Absolutely electric game environments, passion from the fans at another level, and regular season games that mean everything, mean a ton. Those two things. And all this money in this new era, it's kind of taken that away. That's why I love college basketball. I love the passion. I love that stuff. And it's going in a direction I don't like it going in. And maybe that's the new norm. And okay, maybe the reality is just one of my favorite passions in life is kind of changing in a direction I don't really like right now. Okay. That's okay. Doesn't mean you have to go on Twitter and gaslight everybody into being like, no, college basketball is still the best. Blah, blah, blah. There's some problems with the sport right now. Call it how it is.
Donovan, currently making a bracket on our favorite corn dog brands right now. Yeah, Sam, we talked about this yesterday. They're doing the 32 teams next year. And I know the point is, well, too many games have to be played to get to the finals. Well, guess what? If you do 32 teams, I think it's a pretty simple solution. You have basically four different mini tournaments, right? Where it's just a bracket for those 8 teams. You have the Joakim Noah region. You have the Anthony Davis region. You have the, Corliss Williamson region. You've got who's another SEC? Chris Lofton region. And then those are just the teams that are paired together. And at least you know your path to play certain teams. I don't think you have to... Yes, obviously you're still going to have some if you did it that way. well, man, we won't get Tennessee Houston because Houston's in the Joakim Noah region. They're not in the Anthony Davis region. Well, it is what it is. But if you just have a simple bracket system, then at least you know your path to playing certain teams, right? Versus this, where you're forcing teams to win by a certain amount. And then don't forget, I was just waiting for that AP poll tiebreaker. I couldn't wait to get to that one. Like, it's overcomplicating these things, okay? Overcomplicating. That's all. So everybody wants me to give Al Horford a region, a little Corey Brewer region.
Is you have a Tennessee team who's 2-0 against the spread. 2-0 against the spread. They got given a Rutgers matchup. They beat the projection for that game. Beat Rutgers more than people thought they would beat them by. And they play a top 5 team in the country. And they win outright as a 3-point underdog. Cover the spread again. 2 fantastic performances. You don't get to play for the title. What else? What are we doing here?
Well, listen, but here's the thing too. If next year they're extending it to 3 weeks, I forgot about that. Wasn't it 3 weeks or 2 weeks or something? They're extending it over a certain amount of time. Well, then you don't have to worry about how many games you play if you're playing it over that many weeks, right? Because then, Max, you can simply put a tournament bracket together, and if you play 6 games in the Players Era or whatever it is, like, great. I mean, you're playing it over a matter of 3 weeks or something. Again, you're getting paid a lot of money, the NIL compensation, all the stuff that's going into it. I mean, this is going to be and it's not great for those who want to see the mid-major games, but I mean, that's how it would work. And we don't know the exact format they're going to use next year, but I do think that is something where it's like, if you expand it and it's over multiple weeks, well, then you expand the number of games you can play in this tournament. So that makes it even more of an incentive to do a bracket versus everything else. But I'm worried that, like, once we get to 32, are we going to do, like, what all kind of tiebreakers are we going to come up with for 32? I don't know. So I don't know.
What I'm not going to do, and we can move on from the topic soon, but what I'm not going to do is do what a lot of national media members are doing right now and just laying over and accepting it and just going, oh, okay, that's the way the sport's going. There's nothing we can do about it. We need like a Cracker Barrel new logo revolt and have them change it back. I mean, instead of all these national guys trying to carry the water for this tournament and hype it up and everything and fight with college basketball fans, what if all the national media members were agreeing with the fans and saying, yep, I don't like the direction this is going in. We are not doing this next year. I'm not laying down, folks. Not laying down.
Max Barr, stepping up for the world of college basketball. That's what this man does here. It's Thanksgiving. Be thankful for Max Barr. All right.
Does give us some good games, though.
Yeah. By the way, Donovan did his phone case bracket, and Rockform won it. Congratulations to Rockform. Don says, what about the NIT where you seed and play home games, then go to Vegas for the last 2 to 3? Yeah, I mean, that's not complicated at all. Why not? But it's just, you want to be different, and I get it. You want to be different. Understood if you're the Players Era. But I don't know. We'll see. All right. Today's schedule. Is that where we're at? I don't even know where we're at this point. We've been going an hour, and we still got quite a bit to discuss here. Today's schedule. We mentioned the Players Era games. Now let's give you the other games. Vanderbilt, Western Kentucky, going to tip off in about an hour and a half here in the Bahamas. Battle for Atlantis. 11 a.m. Central on ESPN. You're telling me we get to see the Harlem Globetrotter Commodores in an hour and a half. We got a lot to do before then. Vanderbilt favored by, I think, 17.5 in that game. Should take care of business. You never know. I don't like the early start. I'll tell you that. Don't like the early start, but we'll see what the Commodores can do here.
Have you gotten a look at Western Kentucky yet this year?
There's something that stands out about them.
They're one of the fastest teams.
That's right.
That's
right.
And they're last in
can't
3-point shooting.
Yes. I was trying to think. I was like, I have my notes somewhere, but they can't shoot. That's the one thing I do remember.
18% as a team right now. 364th in the country.
Max. Max, you know what's going to happen today.
What are they going to go, 15 to 30?
They're going to go 15 to 30 from three. Somehow the Atlantis Ballroom is going to – they're going to bounce it. It's going to be like the Larry Bird, Magic Johnson commercial McDonald's back in the day. Off the roof, into the window, off the bleachers, score. And they're trading Big Macs or fries or whatever they did. So guarantee you, Western Kentucky is going to have their best three-point shooting performance of the year today probably.
Yep.
So anyways, but we're ultimate optimists here. At Southeastern 16, Kentucky's going to play Tennessee Tech. That's at Rupp. 38.5-point favorite are the Cats. 6 p.m. on SEC Network. So a normal game slot time here on the SEC Network. The Cats against Tennessee Tech. Texas and NC State. How about that matchup, huh? Sean Miller versus Will Wade. No backstory or history there. With 8:30 p.m. Central, ESPN2. That one's going to take place in Maui. NC State, 3.5-point favorite right now against the Longhorns. That's a big game for Texas, as we said. And I think we were saying that yesterday. We didn't know what combination Texas could get. We were hoping for NC State because that was probably the best quality win available still for them there. So, yes, big game for Texas. Circle that one. It is a very important one, I think, for the Longhorns. Then Ole Miss, Utah, we mentioned earlier. Them and Alabama are on the late shift tonight. They're both tipping off after midnight Eastern. So Ole Miss should win that handily. I say handily. They should be a pretty sizable favorite, shouldn't they, Max?
Who? Alabama?
Ole Miss. Ole Miss.
Oh, Ole Miss. Yeah, Utah. Utah's got a nice high volume scoring point guard, but they played horribly last night. Horribly.
Yeah. All right.
What does
Some
Tom
picks.
have on that one?
Some picks coming in. Zach's got St. John's on the money line. Favorite player of the day. 9-time champion has Auburn on the money line.
Wait.
On FanDuel. So
St. John's on the money line. That thing's like minus 300.
Yeah. That sounds like a good play to me. Sounds like good odds.
Going out
sounds
on
like
a
the
limb
odds are
there.
in your favor. So, Sean wants to know why Houston's only 10.5 against Notre Dame. Because Houston hasn't
Notre
looked
Dame's not a
great.
bad team.
And Notre Dame's improved. I think that's probably it. So, of course, Big Baller Brett's got the Maryland money line today. So, I wish you could bet over at FanDuel. I would like to suggest one thing to our fine friends at FanDuel. Over under game time. Game length should be a new thing. Always take the over when Maryland's playing.
Yeah, it's going to be, okay, what do we got? 4.5 for Tennessee, Kansas. So that's sticking there still. Are you seeing any fives there?
No, I see 4.5. It's minus
4.5.
115 to Tennessee, so I don't know if that's going to shift very much. So
I mean, there's everybody and their mother is on Tennessee, and I don't know anybody that's going to be on Kansas, which is a little bit scary, but sometimes that's how it shakes out. I think that Tennessee front court can wear on Kansas. The Auburn St. John's line is very interesting because this is a St. John's team that every time Rick Pitino talks about him, he's just not happy. I mean, he is just not happy with the performance. And I know they just beat up on Baylor pretty good, but still 6.5 points, even if it's like they're up by 10 the whole game and they only let up a little bit, 6 is a little bit steep, I think.
people are asking about Alabama. Alabama's 12.5-point favorites. I don't want to call it my rock lock of the day, but I don't think Maryland's very good.
They're a 12.5-point favorite?
Yes.
Well, they were just a 14-point favorite against UNLV. So it's really not giving Maryland much credit.
No, I mean, Maryland's just awful against the Zags. And I know the Zags are the Zags, but I don't know. So,
yeah. Miles Rice is kind of, I don't know what's going on there. He was injured, but plays 22 minutes against UNLV, then barely plays against the Zags. They're going to need him big time this year. I know Diggy Coit had that 40-point game, and I think that's the only time he's ever sniffing 40 again. They need Miles Rice.
you know, Max, sometimes there's other things you need in life. Boy, the chat can take that a lot of directions. However, here's what you really need. You need an update on the currents. You ready for this, Max? I don't think you were expecting this. You need an update on the Fantasy Basketball League. We haven't given you an update on this in a while, folks. However, what do you know? There's a new number one at the top. As you can see from this little scoring here, somebody has made their way to the top of the rankings. Well, Max, somebody else has slid down a little bit here. Now, we got a tight race at the top. Let's not kid ourselves. Got a tight race up here. The season's not won in November. But when you got this roster that I put together, Jalen Lowe injured, Rodney Rice, I think, was injured at one point, Tahad Pettiford, Nate Amon, now Malik Deal let me down yesterday, Ejiofor, Vin Allen Lubin, Felix Okpara. Now remember, that's just the active guys that are available today. Would we like to see my other players, Max? Because when you start to bring in Malik Thomas, Alex Condon, Jackson Kohler, Big Pat, Malik Ewan could have a big game. What do you think, Max? What do you think about this number one roster right now?
It's pretty impressive without Jalen Lowe.
Yeah, and no Jalen Lowe, and still at the top.
Yep. It's starting to become apparent injuries are very important in this. I'm getting killed right now with no Donnie Freeman for Cuse. Killing me with no Donnie. But it's a fun little league we're going. I don't know how it works exactly because the rankings are total points, but I thought it was like 4 guards, 4 forwards, 2 centers, but I don't think that's been happening. I have no clue.
I have no idea how this league works. I didn't even think about this league until like 2 days ago. So I just realized it was at the top, and I was like, who cares? No, it's kind of fun, though, to see some of these players that you drafted like a month ago or whatever, and just like, oh, yeah, it's interesting. That guy's actually done pretty well. I don't know. So, all right.
My top scorer is like the Ohio State center. Yeah, I didn't even know who he was.
No clue. Some of these guys. I just went mostly all SEC, as you could tell from my roster. So I just loaded up on the SEC and take a big guy from Duke and Michigan State. That usually works out well. So
there you go.
That was my roster construction. Okay. I think we're almost done here, unless there's something else I'm forgetting. Earlier, Sean
one thing I wanted to mention was this Texas NC State game, Blake.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this could be a difference in making the tournament or not. 100%.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This is a huge game. It's Ken Pom has a 2-point win for NC State. It's going to be a great game. I think the line opened at 3.5 and it's moved down to 2.5, I believe. So, I mean, Texas, their best win right now is against 333rd Lafayette. If they lose this, you only have 2 more opportunities. That's Virginia and at UConn. I don't know about at UConn. Pretty much got 2 opportunities left here to grab a quad 1 win. NC State and Virginia. You got to win both. Be happy with just one, but man, I think they got to win both here.
Yeah, I mean, again, your best, like you said, your best win is against the 333rd team in Ken Pom right now. You have 5 wins on the season, so that tells you something. So if you could combine a little NC State, Virginia back-to-back wins, you're back, baby. The horns are up. Yes. They're back. So, we'll see. All right. So, your schedule, folks, if you're curious. Our Arkansas-Duke preview will be coming up this afternoon. We've already recorded that one, so that one will be up this afternoon. We just, again, the way the turnaround times are on some of these games today, we just could not get to that many of them, so that's why we put them within the show. So, again, some thoughts on the bigger games today. And we're recording our first review show for our MVPs and Legends at Southeastern 16. So you see that little pinned comment up there. Become a member. Our first one, Max and I are going to review Thanksgiving foods. So why not start with a little treat? We're going to drop that show tomorrow morning for anyone who wants to spend their Thanksgiving morning with me and Max Barr. Yes. It'll be a recorded show, will not be live, but we're going to give you a little bit of a fun Thanksgiving treat with our first review show. And then the second review show will be next week, and Sam Smith will be on that. But again, you only get to watch the review show with Max and I reviewing random things in the world, which could be sports games, could be, Thanksgiving foods, could be movies, could be all kinds of stuff. Just all kinds of fun we're going to have here. You got to be an MVP or a legend.
We're also going to get into a little conversation of, we're going to do our favorite foods, but also I saw it on Twitter yesterday. I was like, "Ooh, this will be interesting to add in." What is maybe not right, but what is your preferred time for Thanksgiving dinner? Because I've seen people say we eat at noon. I've seen some people say we wait until 5-6 p.m. So we'll get into all the Thanksgiving talks.
The video game seasons start, I think, next week as well. So we're going to start. Max and I will coach a team. We'll play games.
That's gonna be.
You're going to have a very rooting interest in us building a team in different sports as we go along our video game seasons. Also, so yeah, and then of course the SEC predictions live for SEC basketball start the 1st of January when we get into conference play. So if you are a member at the MVP or Legends tier, you will get to join us live. Our predictions for all those games, of course, that's when the predictions really pick up. You guys know that. We do as many as we can in non-conference play. There's so many games. We can't always do them all. Conference play, predictions for every game. So we'll do those live each week. Members at that level will get to join us for that. And, of course, the watch-alongs. Just so much stuff. So, yeah, check out, hit the join button. You're supporting the channel. You're getting bonus content every single week now, multiple things each week. So you guys are already giving us some great feedback. Lots of new members, so we appreciate that.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy we're not probably not going to see you guys until maybe Thanksgiving night, right? Maybe.
Maybe. That's the plan. If Duke and Arkansas, depending on how it turns out, we may see you on Thanksgiving night for a little chat, wrapping up what we've seen the past couple of days. So, of course, no show tomorrow morning outside of the members show. We will drop that one tomorrow morning for members. But, yeah, so, and then, of course, football picks up on Friday. Decision day, possibly for Lane Kiffin. We'll have plenty of stuff on the channel talking about that and more. So,
what a time to be in the SEC. What a time.
What a time. Lane Kiffin's coaching 3 schools. SEC basketball taking a step back. And Southeastern 16 is here to guide you through all of it.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Happy Thanksgiving to all you turkeys out there. And, yeah, plenty of fun on the way here on the channel. So, Big Gator EJ, getting ready for the Black Friday sales also. Yes, should be fun. All right, guys, you're the best. We're thankful for you. We appreciate all of you. Remember, the members show tomorrow morning. Nice little Thanksgiving treat. And, yeah, hit that like button on your way out. Hit the subscribe button as well. Turn on your notifications so you know we go live here, post new videos on the channel. And watch some basketball today. Feast Week continues here at Southeastern 16 and at FanDuel. Check out our friends. We appreciate you watching. We'll talk to you soon. Southeastern 16 presented by FanDuel.